Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Tuplex. I've installed an additional mod called Bottleneck, and a lot of you have probably seen this before. It's pretty simple, but also very useful. It just adds a little indicator light on all of your production buildings. If the light is green, that means it's running at full speed and it has all the material it needs to produce. If the light is yellow, this one was just yellow, or these are yellow. A yellow light means that it is backed up on the output. So it means it has raw materials to produce, but it can't because the output is full. And then a red light would mean that it's ready to produce, but it can't because it doesn't have enough resources to produce. So this is a great way to, at a glance, you can see the status of your production. If we come over here, we can see that, these light oil to petroleum cracking machines are not running because they don't have light oil. We can see that the plastic is all running, except for a few of these, which are backed up, which is fine. I don't mind seeing yellow. It's red that I don't like. Let's see if we see anything red. Yeah, some of these, well, the green circuits we expect to turn red on occasion because the ratio is not exactly perfect. But everything else looks pretty good. So, after the last episode, which I'll admit was not my best work, I was a little bit tired and I was having trouble doing the calculations in my head. But in any case, I was thinking about this after I recorded the episode, and I'm thinking, why are we bothering with solid fuel when we could be just making rocket fuel instead? So I think what I'm going to do is add rocket fuel production over here. Reason for that is we don't really need solid fuel for anything, other than a fuel source. And we can make rocket fuel, which is an even better fuel source. It's not quite as efficient. One rocket fuel takes 10 solid fuel. Each solid fuel has, let's see, I put some in my train. Each solid fuel has 25 megajoules of energy. So 10 solid fuels would be 250 megajoules. But a rocket fuel only gives you 225. So you lose a little bit of efficiency, I would suppose, with your raw material. But it's a much more dense fuel source. It gives you 180% vehicle acceleration versus 120, I believe. Yeah, versus 120 for solid fuel. So for fueling trains, it's way better. For fueling steam power, it's probably kind of a waste. But I don't expect to be using steam power anymore except in emergencies anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that. We finally finished up our iron mine here, which is great. So we can go ahead and pick this up. And then once that's done, we will head over and convert our solid fuel base into a rocket fuel base. And then we'll use rocket fuel for all the trains and instead of coal. All right, and then we can remove our priority splitter, which seems to have worked well. Okay, so let's head over there. On this last train, I've got it loaded with landfill, and then I also added a bunch of modules and beacons. It's still filling. We don't quite have the production totally up to snuff. But let's head over there and we'll add rocket fuel production, and then we'll empty out the solid fuel train that we set up. Now, one thing that's encouraging, at the beginning of the episode, you could probably see, even though I was tired and probably babbling a little bit, it seems like the ratios here are just right because for quite a while everything was completely green over here. So I think I did the math correctly eventually. All right. Yeah, we're gonna have to use up, we're gonna have to pick up all the solid fuel. So what I'm gonna do to begin with is I'm gonna cut the output so that we can drain what's on here first before we produce any more, because I'm gonna want to empty out that train and all those chests over there. And it'll be easier if I'm not adding more material to the mix. Okay. So one thing we can do is we can start by adding modules and beacons to all this stuff. You know, and why didn't I think to just do that from the very beginning? That would be a good question. I'm not sure why. But I should have, because we are now in the age of modules and beacons. Alright, let me go grab more. I probably won't have enough to go around. But we can come back and add more as we get more materials. All right, so we're going to be setting this up for, you know, basically an end game sort of configuration. So in this case, what we would do is we would set up our beacons, you know, something like this. We have to offset the beacons. For example, if I line up all the beacons like this, oh man, you know what? I'm gonna have to change the layout here too, because by having power poles in between, that is going to compromise our ability to use the beacons effectively. All right, so I'm gonna have to pick this up. So let's pick up power poles, lights, and chemical plants. I'm gonna leave the belt and the pipes in place. And of course, I've got inventory problems. Because I always do. Alright, let's get rid of all that stuff, at least for now. Okay. All right, good. Yeah, so what we're going to have to do, and we had 10 per side here. We're going to have to set them up like this. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Whoops. All right, and then copy our recipe back. And we'll have to move inserters and power poles as well. Okay, so why did I do this? Well, because when you want to put modules and beacons to the maximum, you need to have them side by side. So what I was about to say before is that when you set up the beacons, they have to be offset from the machines to get the maximum density. All right, so if I aligned the beacons up with the machines like that, then what you'll see is that each machine at the most can be hit by 3 beacons. You know, if we look at this machine here, if I put a 4th beacon over here, it's not going to touch, and one over here is not going to touch. So each machine will only get hit by 3 beacons, and each beacon will only hit 3 machines. However, if we offset it by at least 1 tile, like that, if we look at this machine, for example, now that machine is affected by 4 beacons instead of 3. Okay, and each beacon, except for the ones here on the ends, but each beacon towards the middle will now affect 4 machines. All right, so it's it's a way to get more impact out of your beacons. You can affect a greater number of machines and get more benefit. So we even put one more right there. Now this one is not going to run full time, so I'm not as concerned about that one. All right, and then we load all these up with speed modules. We load all of these up with productivity modules. All right, and then we're going to repeat this same configuration over here on the other side. We just need to relocate this stuff. Great. Okay, and right there. Okay, and I need to go grab some more beacons, so let me go do that. And again, I'm not sure if I've got enough material to complete all the beacons and modules that I want to use right now, but this will be a good start, and we can come back and add them in over time. But this will be, I would say that this will be the first production setup that we do with full beacons and modules. Even though we're only at level 1, we might as well set it up now, and then we can come back later and change out all the modules to level 3s. In fact, there might even be a mod that would make that easier for us. Okay, so power-wise, we just need to get our power poles in here. Looks like that's going to power everything up. And actually, I'm going to cut the input of oil, just because, again, I want to use up everything that's on the belt. All right, now modules for oil is, or I'm sorry, beacons for oil. We need quite a few more, as you can see. And what I'm looking for is how far away this last one needs to be. Sorry, let me set up a beacon. So this would be the last one in the row. Sorry, let me do that again. All right, so that would be the last one that would have an effect on any machine. So we want to go all the way out to there. Now the refineries are a lot bigger than the other machines, so they're going to be affected by more modules per machine. And I also noticed that I forgot to put lights down here on the refineries, so let's fix that. Okay, and then we'll want another row just below. We're gonna have to move that power pole. Is that lined up? No, it's not. There we go. Okay, and on this side, that's as far as we need to go on that side. There. Okay, and this side is going to be missing one, although I suppose I can move this out a bit more to make room for that. that right? Yep. Okay. All right, and now we have to power up all the beacons. And that one needs a couple of modules. Do I have them? Yeah. Okay. Okay, that didn't work. There we go. Those are all powered up. And then we need to power all this up. And over here on this side, let's see. That's gonna go right there. But we don't need those. And we need to, well, actually this belt is not going to go up there anymore, so. Put another one right there. All right, now let me see if I've got any more beacons. I think I might be out of beacons now. Yep, I do have more speed modules, but no more beacons. Okay, so we've got most of that finished up. We need to get power for these beacons. Okay, and I think we can do that by putting our power poles down here. Like that. Okay. Actually, we can leave the lights where they were. Okay, and then all of these will be powered from those power poles, except for this last one here. There. Okay, so that's our solid fuel. Now we can set up the rocket fuel production. And I think I'll set that up over here. And I'm not sure what the ratios are to begin with. We'll have to calculate those. Oops, copy. There we go. So we're going to be making well with the modules. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to run some calculations. I'm not sure how many of these machines we're going to need, to be honest. But we have less than a full red belt, so I don't think it's going to be a whole lot. Probably 8 or 10 will be enough once we get beacons put on everything. Okay, and then on the output, we've got 8 here. So if we do output like this, whoops. Then we can do that to balance the line. Okay, and then I'll put power poles on both sides. And those should help power up the beacons as well. And we'll just put lights to the left of each power pole where we can. Or to the right, I read. To the right, rather. Linguistically challenged. Let's see, now these are going to run, I think these probably need to be fast inserters. Especially once we get level 3 modules, these are going to be going awfully fast. Alright, so let's copy, print here. Alright, so right here is where the last beacon needs to go. And again, we want to be offset so that we get greater effect. Alright. One, two, three. Yeah, so this one will just barely hit that. We'll copy the same thing on the other side. Gonna have to move some of these boxes. Okay. Let me cut off the petroleum supply. Will that fit now? Yes. Okay, and we're going to need a couple more power poles down here. And these will be powered. Okay. And, alright, let's get rid of some more of this solid fuel I have. There we go. The rocket fuel. I'm going to run this belt the other way. There we go. And then this will go up to our train station. Oops. Alright, so once I get this running, I'm going to have to start getting rid of all this solid fuel and taking it over there. That'll take a while, but, you know, I can do that off camera, obviously. We can use this car to help us out. Let me put all these modules back in the train to make more room. Actually, I'll make a couple steel chests and dump all my inventory in there. Okay. All right, so I'll start doing this transfer. Starting to get a little rocket fuel accumulating here. Let's go ahead and put some in my train so we can see how much of a difference that makes. I'll put half in that one and the other half in this one. Alright, so let's head back to the main base, where I will attempt to pick up more more modules and beacons so that we can finish this build, and then we'll see how it runs. Now, using rocket fuel and solid fuel versus coal and wood, it not only increases the acceleration, but it also increases the top speed of the trains, which is why I like to use it. Okay, so this should be getting loaded up. We don't have many beacons. I wonder... Whoops, wrong weapon. And I don't have any repair packs. Okay, I better get out of here before my bots start filling me up with all sorts of stuff that I don't want. But I think there's still more biters here, so let me go kill those first. Yeah, I think this is inevitable. I'm gonna have a mess in my inventory because I left everything back at the station, and now the bots are filling up with all the stuff I have requested. So I'm gonna end up with chests everywhere. Alright, where are my repair packs? There we go. Oh, and I left my bots here too. Alright. Okay, looks like we're still short on beacons. I think there are a couple in the train. Yep, let's go ahead and grab those. Yeah, we'll still be a little bit short. Okay, well, as we can see, this is running much faster now. We have a crafting speed of 2.5, which is plus 100%. You know, obviously, once these are all upgraded to level 3s, these will be coming along much more quickly. But anyway, it'll take a while for these to use up all this extra solid fuel that I have laying around. But I'll continue working on that off camera, and then once all the solid fuel is used up, then I'll plug all this back in so we can start producing more. So that's going to do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.